Bayern hosting Barcelona was the pick of the games this week on paper, and Jules, it did not disappoint.
Not at all, Gab. What a game we had. I mean, I hate the expression a game of two halves. It doesn't make much sense to me, but this one, Barca were really good in the first half, missed loads of chances. Lewandowski, Pedri, and Bayern looked really, really like not into the game. And then Sabitzer comes off, Goretzka comes on at halftime, and suddenly there was far more impetus, I think, in what Bayern were trying to do. And Barca maybe not on it as much. And then in the space of 4 minutes, they scored 2 goals. The first one on set piece, which really unlocked the whole game for Bayern, Lucas Hernandez, and then lovely move by Musiala and Sané for the second. I think if you Barca, you can have regrets. If you Bayern, you kind of forget about the first half maybe and say, that was a warning call. But the second half was much better for me.
Well, when we talked about this was Barcelona's first real big test this season, I thought they came through with flying colors. And I thought, even if just one goal goes in the first half, maybe the second half pans out very, very differently for Bayern.
Yeah. Manchester City have to leave it late to come from behind in their 2-1 win over Borussia Dortmund on Wednesday night. But at least we got to see another Erling Haaland won the goal. Wow.
Yeah. So the big debate with, I was actually, I have a friend who's the assistant coach to, he's an assistant to somebody who's very well known in the game and has coached in the Champions League at high levels. And we actually had a debate about whether, I said, oh, this looks like something Ibrahimovic might do. The body control, the big man in the air turning it. And he says, no, it's like Johan Cruyff's goal.
Of course it is. 73 against Atletico.
Okay, 73 is the year I was born. I don't remember the freaking Cruyff goal.
I do, and I was born in 80.
Anyway.
L'équipe put it both. He said it was a Zlatan-esque volley or goal like the one Johan Cruyff scored.
I think they should be a tiny bit concerned, though, City, about how Borussia Dortmund played them their cost. I give credit to Edin Terzic. I thought they prepared really, really well. Obviously, City changes at the back. In the end, if I'm Terzic, I walk away head held high. I held my own. I denied them shots on goal. I denied them clear chances for a long time. I took the lead. And then in the end, I'm undone by this freak Erling Haaland. And by the way, not just him, but the other freak, João Cancelo, with the outside of his boot.
Even John
Stones.
Wow.
Whether the keeper doing the seaman. Come on, man.
Okay. Why, if you are in Terzic, you 1-0 up, and I'm going to be quick, you 1-0 up with 12 minutes to go, and you bring Schlotterbeck on for Modest to go to a back 5. When your back 4 has worked really well, your 4-3-3 has worked really well. They have nothing so far. They haven't scored the first goal yet. You're 1-0 up. Why do you go to a back 5? And you drop 20 yards.
Because you think you can hit them on the break. Because you think that Hummels and Sule, at some point, they're going to get tired.
But change. Take Hummels off at his edge and don't go to a back 5.
It
cost them. I'll tell you why it cost them.
Right. A late Joel Matip header gives Liverpool a 2-1 win over Anfield. Jules, Klopp talked so much about how important it was to have a performance and so on. We saw that, didn't we?
I think it was, I thought it was an improvement. I mean, we saw Klopp at the end going like this, look at the cup, and I think he was relieved because a 1-1 draw wouldn't have been a good result, even with the improvement that we saw on the pitch. They pressed better, they ran more for the first time in 8 games. They outran the opposition, the opposition. Yeah, at times Ajax were threatening, but they only had one shot on target through the whole game. Daley Blind has a really good header and chance on that. But apart from that, they created loads of chances. They should and could have scored more. And it was good for Mo Salah. First goal in 8 Champions League matches for him to go back on the score sheet in the Champions League. So a lot of improvement from them, which is good, but they still have a lot of work to do. I think.
They got some joy as well from the Alisson just kicking it long thing.
Yeah, which was
nothing wrong with that to mix things up against a team that presses you at all.
And I thought that was good. They were very dominant on set pieces.
By the way, the Kudus goal.
Whoa, special.
He leathered it.
Yeah. Inter win away to Viktoria. Plzen 2-0. Gab, it helps when you play the last half hour. 11v10, of course.
Yeah, but come on. Don't mock. Simone Inzaghi's a bit fragile now. It's only Victoria Plzen. They beat them. Dzeko scoring a great one on Barella. It's coming back to life. Nice little back heel there. Onwards and upwards. These are games they need to win, and now their future will be decided against Barcelona. Paris Saint-Germain go a goal down in Israel, but eventually turn it around to win 3-1 against Maccabi Haifa. Jules, never really in doubt, right? And how about my boy Verratti's pass?
Well, the pass was amazing for the third goal.
The Messi one was better, I know.
Yeah,
but come on,
for the Neymar one, it was just bad from PSG. From pretty much, the first half especially, they missed chances. They were not playing as a team. They were not compact. It was the three up front, not running, not defending, and then the others. There was so much space between the lines. It was crazy. And I was like, what is going on with this block? A bit better in the second half. Game to forget. They won. That's the most important. But I didn't like it.
Were they like, oh, look, it's Maccabi Haifa.
Yeah,
ha, ha, ha.
maybe.
Was it that?
Maybe, although the atmosphere was amazing. It felt like a game you wanted to play. I don't know. Juventus lose again, this time at home to Benfica. Hang on, I thought Max Allegri was telling us that was the most important game and PSG they should not be worried about. What's happening?
Yeah, this was really, really bad, especially, they took the lead.
Yeah.
João Mario equalizes and then trolls them.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reaction at 1-1. They end up losing 3-1. Allegri comes out and says like, oh, well, moments like this happen. They've happened in the past. They'll happen again in the future.
Please.
I mean, honestly, like the messaging couldn't be any better. Couldn't be any worse, rather. Arriva Bene, the club's chief executive, de facto chief executive right now, he was in a restaurant and somebody said like, you need to sack Allegri, and he's like, yeah, well, are you going to pay his compensation?
And the new manager? Yeah.
I mean, that's not a vote of confidence. It's tough, and you know what, you can't. Maybe they were a little bit unlucky with Miretti conceding the penalty, but you can't play like that. Miretti, one of the few ones who does well. Maybe light bulb goes off. Just maybe let's trust our younger players more. We do have some good ones.
Yeah. Real Madrid leave it late to beat Leipzig 2-0 Gab. This was a bumpy ride, but nice to see Marco Asensio with a goal. Wow, a lovely goal as well.
But Marco Asensio and Marco Rosa as well. Leipzig still enjoying their Rosa
they were good
bounce.
In the first half.
They played really, really well. This was a young Real Madrid. Chouameni, Camavinga, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Valverde, of course, who scored again. This is what Ancelotti does, though, with the Asensio thing. Remember, like he said, like, oh no,
he was not happy.
He puts him in. He scored a great goal. Looked very happy afterwards. I think Asensio can still contribute. It can still be mutually beneficial for Asensio to be in there and contribute. I think Real Madrid do need him. Because, it helps him if he's going to move on, and it helps Real Madrid if he's productive in scoring.
Yeah, that's true.
Certainly more so than Hazard.
Yeah.
Antonio Conte, Jules, had his players in for surprise extra training on Wednesday morning, reportedly. I'm guessing the 2 late goals against Sporting had something to do with that.
Yeah, I think so. He was not happy at all that they let a good point, I guess, slip that way with those 2 late goals. One on set pieces, really poor marking, defending, and then the second one from Arthur. One of the goals of the week, without a doubt. The step over on Romero, then the nutmeg on... Okay, same lesson, but still, and then the nutmeg on Lloris as well. I was like, what's going on here? For someone who was playing for Estoril like 4 months ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, can I say something? When we have like those goal of the day highlights on the FC show, right? They had one last week. And he was like, the top 10 goals, 9 of them was somebody belting it from 40 yards out.
I know, exactly.
These are great goals.
These are
not somebody having the shot of a lifetime from 40 yards away.
And I love Conte for the extra training, although it was at 11 a.m. So he can't have been that angry. Otherwise, they would have come at 8 or 7. 11 is still, okay, you can have a lie-in and take the kids to school, but, come back to training after. Milan get the job done with a 3-1 win over Dinamo Zagreb. Gab, further evidence of just how important Rafael Leao is.
And how much they're going to miss him this weekend, obviously, against Napoli. This was a solid professional performance. We saw a bit of Salamakers, of course, getting on a score sheet. Tommaso Pobega, I think he's like the first Italian player to score for Milan since drumroll, Super Mario.
Super Mario.
And that was a few years ago. I thought they could have had more. By the way, your Techers, the assist from Petkovic for Zagreb on the Orsic goal.
Yeah,
this is the stuff that's supposed to be in highlights, boys and girls.
I didn't get, just quickly, they're capable of playing like that. That goal is a magnificent collective goal, team goal. And then they don't do it enough. And then the rest of the time they were literally in their box trying to defend.
Yeah,
it's a shame. But I would rather than play and lose 5-1 or 5-2 or 5-3 than play like this and still lose 3-1.
I think they could trip up 1 or 2 clubs between now and the end of the group stage. Shakhtar and Celtic share the spoils with a 1-1 draw. But Jules, your man Mihailo Mudryk scores again.
And what a goal. He's so quick.
He's so strong, too. He's like an hawk.
So quick. Not sure about the only Jesus tattoo that he's got on his neck. It's pretty ugly to me, but the tattoo, not the message. It means, of course, not the message. But I mean, his stake is going up and up and up, and his price is going up and up and up. I'm really curious to see where he goes next and when he will leave Shakhtar for a bigger club. Napoli win away to Rangers 3-0 despite Alan McGregor saving 2 penalties, Gab, and almost the third one as well.
I know Alan McGregor, by heart, but I believe is older than you, Jules. Not older than me, though. Like Napoli, I thought Rangers just aren't very good, and obviously they were demoralized from their defeat the first time around. Napoli there, Zielinski. Apart from the penalty taking, I thought he ran the show, did it very, very well. It seemed a little weird to somebody who doesn't follow football that, you have Matteo Lajos there. So they had to retake the penalty that he saved because Alan McGregor was off his line. But off the rebound, Politano scores. Wouldn't you let that stand? I know that's not the rule. This is kind of a stupid rule, right? Because then he misses it. Yeah. Anyway, what is it with Marseille in the Champions League? They lose again, falling to Frankfurt 1-0. What's up with the two-door sedan?
15th defeat in the last 16 Champions League match. 15 out of 16 and 1 win against Olympiacos with 2 goals on penalties. They haven't even scored on open play in this competition since 2012 or 2013. It's ridiculous. It's doing my head in. It looked like they were scared to play. Didn't want to go too far, too cautious. And when you're too cautious like that, Frankfurt are not very good. No. But they got to be lucky, took their chance, and then that was it. It was so disappointing from Marseille. Disappointing.
Disappointing too, the trouble between the fans before the game.
And during the game as well. Rico Suave beats El Cholo as Bayer Leverkusen scored twice in the last 6 minutes to get the win over Atletico Madrid. Gab, Gerardo needed this. But were you surprised that Atletico had so much possession away from home?
This is the part that didn't really follow him. When you watch it, there's all these games on at the same time. You're watching. They had 55% possession in a game where where they're away from home, the opposition scored minute 84 and minute 87. I thought, and you can look and say, oh, it's an attacking lineup because Saul, but no, actually, it's still the back five. Yeah. I thought Rico Suave got this perfect. He said, you guys get the ball. We're going to hit you. We're going to out-cholo you. Yeah. And they did. Big win for them. It's a scoreless draw between Copenhagen and Sevilla. Jules, signs of life for Julian Lopetegui?
Not really. Gab, they were bad, I thought. They were terrible. Didn't create anything. Maybe the Rakitic sort of shot at the start of the game, and that was it. I mean, he could change. There was just nothing. I don't know. There's no creativity. There's nothing. Copenhagen are not very good either. I know you're away from home, but it was bad. I thought it was bad.
I think given the circumstances, the win at the weekend was big. A draw, at least the result, is better than yet another defeat.
They can't beat Copenhagen. They've got nothing to do in that competition.
No, I saved it until now, Jules. I'll just remind everybody how down you were on Bruges' chances when we did our preview. You said they were all rubbish. Oh, no, there's no Philippe Clement. What are we going to do? There's no Prince Charles de Ketelaere.
Say that.
You know what? Mr. Champions League, Hans Lanaken is still there.
He hasn't scored in the Champions League this season, by the way.
I think it's only been 2 games, but it doesn't matter. He helps other scorers.
Mr. Champions League.
They traveled to Porto and they won 4-0.
I know. And I mean,
this is a debacle for Sergio Conceição.
Yeah, it was. And I saw his car when he was leaving the stadium being pelted with stones and everything, which is not it's not right. And we should not.
It's not right. And by the way, it's not just Sergio Conceição in his car. Sergio Conceição, his wife,
the family,
and his sons, one of whom is 22. Again, nobody deserves it, but he's 22. The other one's 7 years old.
Yeah.
7 years old, and you throw rocks at a 7-year-old? Come on.
But it was as bad from Porto that it was good from Bruges in the sense that everything Bruges were doing going forward worked. They scored, they were efficient, they were clinical, they were so good with the ball, they defended well, and for Porto it's just a game to forget. It's not. I know Bruges have 6 points. It doesn't guarantee that they qualify in a group with Bayer Leverkusen and Atletico Madrid.
Well, because the other groups are so strong. The other teams are so
he makes this group spicy. He makes this group spicy. Now Bruges will face Atletico twice now. Which could be tricky for El Cholo.
I'm officially becoming a Bruges fan.
Are you a bourgeois?
Although I can't turn my back on Rico Suave.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.